Hi friends, welcome you all for today's session. Subject HR Analytics 18 MBA HR 302, Unit 3 Basics of HR Analytics, Session 1. So in today's session, we are going to discuss analytics, nature of analytics. So since Unit 3 speaks regarding to basics of your HR analytics, so let's try to understand the term, what you mean by HR analytics here and the nature of analytics here. So this unit is linked with your first unit where we have tried to define what you mean by data, what do you mean by analytics, and what do you mean by HR analytics. So keeping all these three definitions, we are bringing back those definitions again in unit 3 here. Okay, so we know that data are nothing but the facts, informations, the quantitative numbers which represents the HR units or the operations data. Okay, it can be your procurement data or it can be your development data, compensation data, integration data, and the maintenance data. So that's the informations or the facts or the numbers what we try to keep in our HR units or the operations or the functions. And those data, okay, we are applying the analytics here. Analytics is something where those data are analyzed. Okay, we are interpreting what those data are telling with the help of the statistics. With the help of what? Statistics, we are trying to analyze there. We are interpreting. So now coming here, analytics. So analytics try to make use of art, science, logic, and the statistics. What we can say is analytics, when we say analytics, okay, it's try to make use of all the four fundamentals here. It's making use of arts, it's making use of the science and the logic design as well as the statistics here. Okay, so analytics, when I just say analytics, to apply analytics, you need the art. Art is something like what the world assumes or what the world thinks here. Okay, and science, how to do those things. Okay, how to do the thing something. Okay, and it speaks about the science here and the logic. Okay, when I'm saying analytics, okay, to apply analytics, I have to apply few logic also. Okay, I cannot just go calculative mindset. I cannot simply apply some formulas or some statistical formulas and I try to do it. So there also requires some assumptions or the logics required. So logic design is very much important here as well as the statistics here. Okay, because when I'm playing with the data here, okay, making use of the people data and start analyzing, okay, how I'm doing analyzing is applying the statistics here. Okay, I've got various softwares or various tests are there, parametric, non-parametric test, what we have already discussed in the unit 1. So we are applying those statistics and finally these analytics, okay, in our HR units is going to evaluate. Okay, that's make us the evaluation easy. So why are we applying all these four parameters here is finally we have to evaluate something. So when we are evaluating, okay, we try to get the answers, strategic answers we are going to get as well as the operational answers we are going to get and the features. Okay, so very simple. Why are we applying this analytics in our HR operations is finally in our day-to-day HR units or the operations, okay, coming to speaking to our practices, programs and the policies, okay, 3 P's what we discussed in the unit 2 HR analytics framework, policies, practices and the programs, and we are going to try to evaluate, okay, those 3 P's, okay, how strategically, okay, are they working strategically, okay, are they meeting our operational needs, okay, day-to-day operational needs and features, that is again with respect to the 3 P's here. So finally these analytics, that is the application of all this art, science, logic and the statistics make you to understand the things, the people data or the operation data, very simple, very easy, where you are trying to evaluate in the terms of strategic aspect, you are going to evaluate in the terms of operational aspect as well as the features aspect. Okay, feature aspects I've already told, the program wise, the practices wise and the policies wise. Okay, so what we can try to understand is HR analytics or HR capital, human resource capital, is a communication device. We can say it's a communication device. Okay, why it is communication devices? You are applying analytics. When you apply the analytics, easily we can interpret that. Okay, the whatever the findings we are interpreting. Okay, interpretations gives the better answers. So that is why we call it as a communication device. For example, I say attrition. Okay, simply I say attrition. What do I come to know? I have to say in the numbers. I have to say in the data. So the data says 50% of attrition this year. Okay, then what was last year? Okay, or 5 years previous data, what was the attrition? Okay, coming days, what will be the attrition? So this way, when I start predicting, okay, when I start prescripting or predicting or describing, so there I come to know that is this analytics is helping me to answer what in the right way. Okay, so the previous data it was saying this much, so presently it's been increased or decreased, or coming years again it will be increased or decreased. So that is why we tell it is a communication device. Okay, so as well as we can see analytics, when I say this, is going to bring the data. We are going to get the data from the different places. Places here is cross-functional or the functional, that is HR operations. We are getting the data. We are pulling the data from the procurement, okay, till the maintenance, and we are trying to assess the current condition of those HR units problems to the future. That's what I told. What we do is, we are getting the insight. Okay, we are just taking this data, we are getting an insight, and finally we are coming with a foresight. Okay, so whether it's right direction it's moving, or it is in somewhere it has been deviated, or it has to be controlled or managed something. So we try to, making use of this analytics, we try to take the corrective actions. So hence we can say that current conditions, okay, HR analytics, what it does is, we are playing with the current conditions. We are analyzing the current conditions data so that the future we can control. So instead of being reactive, we can be proactive. So that's the one thing here. So this is how we try to understand here analytics, the basics of HR analytics. Again, it's an extension of your first unit where we are trying to understand the basics, the fundamental of analytics, what it says. So you should know, before knowing what is analytics, you should know what is data. Okay, so data I've already told, it's nothing but datas are the facts, datas are the informations or the numbers or the symbols where they are expressed in the quantitative aspect. Okay, when I say data in HR, it's our people data. Either it can be the procurement data, or it can be the development data, integration data, compensation data, or the maintenance data. So these data, I'm applying the analytics, that is the statistical softwares or the programs or the tests I'm applying, so that I analyze, I interpret what is happening. Okay, both applying the art, science, logic. With the help of statistics, I am trying to evaluate, okay, I am trying to evaluate my programs, the policies and the practices, that we call it as the features here, and my operational day-to-day unit functions I am assessing, evaluating, as well as my strategies I am evaluating. It makes it a very better function. So we can call it as what? This analytics, when I start applying my human resource or the human capital, it becomes a better communication device where I'm trying to pull the data from different sources. Okay, different sources is already we've been discussed. And finally, this explains the current condition. Okay, what are we facing in the current operations, so that we can be highly proactive for the future instead of being reactive. Okay, now moving to the next topic, that is HR analytics values. Okay, HR analytics values. Okay, or we can also say datas, HR analytics data, because datas when we speak in the first unit, it says internal data, external data, structured data, unstructured data. Same way you can also relate. Now you got two more datas again: economic data, financial data, or we can also call it as the values: economic value, financial value here. Okay, so in economic, what I say economic is economic datas. Okay, economic datas are the practical data. They are nothing but they are the practical data, we can say. Practical datas are example like market, okay, customer satisfaction. Okay, all these are practical datas. Okay, demand, supply, demonetization, current, what is happening in the market, okay, external, okay, with respect to changes in the policies, government regulations, anything it can be. So those we can consider as an economic data, as we can see. Okay, and even the customer satisfaction, it changes because their needs, wants, desires, everything keeps changing. Okay, according to their needs and wants, we have to produce the product and services or the goods. So we can say even that is as an economic data. So those economic data are here, practical data here. And now these are the non-cash data. What we can say is economic data are always non-cash data. Okay, and these are shown, economic data are shown off balance sheet. They are shown what? Off balance sheet. Okay, so they are not represented in balance sheet, they are off. Okay, so understanding the financial data are from these economic data. Okay, we are deriving those economic data into the financial terms. So what we can say is economic data are financial data. Okay, economic data's later part, we try to convert those economic data into financial data. So we want to see those economic data in terms of values. We want to see in terms of what? Monetary aspect. So we can say economic data are converted into what? Financial data here. And these financial data are recorded. Okay, we try to maintain in the recorded form, as well as they are shown in the balance sheet, income statement, what we generally say na. So they are shown in the balance sheet here. Example, what we can say, your cash and your liquid resources in the form of what? Stocks, okay, bonds, investors, all this we can call them as a financial data. So if a question arises, what are the two values of HR analytics? So I'm applying my analytics in my HR, human capital. So finally, why I'm doing that? I want to see in terms of two values. One is the economic value, other one is the financial value. That's the reason why we're applying analytics in the modern days in our HR units. Okay, finally, any our HR units or the operations are valued in terms of economic wise. Okay, for example, if I say recruitment, okay, or training, okay, performance appraisal, they have to match, okay, to the present context market, okay, or the market trend. Okay, my HR units always should match the present trend, okay, present market, present customers or the employee, competitions, okay, what's happening in the external market. So I have to scan. Okay, finally, we can say that economic. So I'm measuring in the terms of economic values. Okay, remember, even though these are practical, that's what we said, those are the practical ways of doing the things here. Even though they don't give the non-cash right now, slowly these practices, I can say, are economic values. Slowly they fetch the financial value to a firm. Okay, that's the reason we say they are shown, even though they are not shown in the income statement or the balance sheet, they are represented off balance sheet. Whereas slowly our HR units, they are converted, HR operations are slowly converted to the financial aspect. We value each units or each operations of our HR in financial terms. Okay, for example, we have discussed in the measurement, okay, HR measurements like recruitment, I try to calculate the recruitment cost, training cost, okay, attrition rate, even the performance, etc. Okay, same way all our units are measured in the terms of financial values. So I am going to check whether these financial values are getting me monetary, that is the cash benefits, or in the form of a liquid resources. Okay, so this is how we try to understand HR analytics values. So remember, HR analytics values are only two, that is economic value, financial value, or else we can also call it as economic data, financial data. Okay, there we say internal data, external data, structured data, unstructured data. So along with this, you can also add up two more data, economic data, financial data. Okay, now coming to the next topic, that is the types of HR analytics. Okay, even this we have discussed in your first unit. Okay, we all know that levels of HR analytics, we have three levels, that is descriptive, predictive, and a prescriptive. So here goes the types of HR analytics or levels of HR analytics. So we have three levels. Descriptive analytics, as the name itself says, descriptive analytics, it describes, okay, it is going to describe the relationship between the HR units. Okay, descriptive, as the name says, it is going to describe the relationship. Okay, and here in the descriptive analytics, what we try to do is we are going to take the past data, okay, as well as the current data. We try to take the past data and the current data. Example, attrition I told. So I just want to see the problem is the attrition. People are living more, okay, quitting more. So how do I try to find a solution for this problem? So I am going to take the data of the history of the attrition, that is the past 5 years data, okay, each year what the attrition rate speaks about, okay, or I go with the department wise or the entire client wise, okay, I see the numbers, okay, whether it has been what to extent it has been increasing, okay. So that is one way, okay. I'm taking the past data and the present I'm matching, okay, whether in the present current situation it's been high or what. So coming days what might happen, okay. So descriptive speaks only for like taking the past data and the current data, and it is going to describe the problem here. Whereas in the predictive is I'm just going to predict the future. That is again keeping the descriptive data, that is the past data and the present data. I am going to predict the future, what might happen. For example, I told attrition, okay, now it has been increased by 50%. When I take the last 5 years data, the current says that 50% of attrition has been increased. So next coming year, okay, next in the future, we can have another 10% increase. So how do we control, how do we check over this problem? So this is what predictive. Predictive speaks about the future aspect. Descriptive, taking the past, it explains the current situation, whereas in the predictive, taking the past and the current, it explains the future, okay. Whereas prescriptive is, it's something beyond the predictive, beyond the future, okay. You will be thinking something like beyond the horizon, what we say now, you're going to think beyond the horizon, that is beyond the predictive. Okay, so my keeping the data, what it says is in the future we can have 10% of attrition once again. So what I do is I go beyond that, so that I try to minimize, I try to control, ensure that I have 0% of attrition. People don't quit here. So this is how we try to understand the types of HR analytics here. That is descriptive, predictive, prescriptive. So well friends, so now let's try to understand in this box analytic capabilities, or we can also call it as analytic path data map. So all one and the same, please try to understand. It's a very important topic what we're going to discuss here now. Analytic capabilities / analytic path data map, it's all the same, okay. Now previous what we try to understand the analytics, okay, and the types of analytics, levels of analytics, and the data or the values of analytics. So we are clubbing everything here, okay, in this figure, okay. See now this descriptive, predictive, prescriptive, these are the types or the levels of analytics what you're going to see here. And financial, economic, okay, these are the data or the values, economic value, economic data, financial value, financial data, and you have got structure and structure. Okay, keeping this, so we are clubbing what we discussed in the previous boxes. So we are clubbing those, okay, and we are forming a diagram here, and this we call it as what? Analytic capabilities, analytic path of the data map, okay. So what happens now? So keeping these types or the levels, okay, descriptive, predictive, prescriptive, okay, this is the past and the current data, and this is past and the current data, you're predicting the future, and prescriptive is something you're going beyond the future, okay. What we are doing is we are keeping the economic data, that is keeping always in the mind the economic value and the financial value, okay. You have the two data always in mind, and we can also understand here you got structure and structure. Structure is something we can call it as a financial data. Structured here is it's nothing but the financial data, and always the structure, as the name itself says, they are the predictive as well as the prescriptive. What we can connect as structure is your financial values or the financial data here, and there always speaks about your predictive analytics and the prescriptive analytics. Whereas unstructured, it speaks more of your economic data, economic value, okay, and it is descriptive, okay. Unstructured data here is your economic data, and this explains your descriptive. So this figure, okay, we can call it as what? Analytic capabilities. And remember that the fusion of these two, structure and structure, okay, the amalgam or the fusion, okay, we call when these structure and unstructured data, when they mix together or when they fuse together, we call it as what? Hybrid data. Remember, you have got one more data here, hybrid data coming into the picture. When structured data, unstructured data fuse together, we get hybrid data. So understand, structured data are always your financial data and they speaks in terms of your predictive and prescriptive, whereas your unstructured data are your economic data, okay, and economic data is speaking about your descriptive analytics. And the mix of these two, that is structured, unstructured, is your hybrid data. So that is how we try to understand here. So try to bring understanding of all this here. That is, you are trying to explain the types and the levels of analytics here. You are also explaining the data or the values of analytics here. And one more the new is structure, unstructured. Okay, from the previous boxes what we learned, taking those boxes, we are trying to explain the analytic part of the data. Very important question. Okay. Now moving to the next, analytic value chain. Analytic value chain. So I've already told we are applying analytics. Finally, we want to see the values. That is, you are taking the people data, our HR data or the operations. When you are putting this, when you are analyzing our HR operations, finally, we are going to see the values in terms of the financial and the economy wise. Okay, now you have a diagram here, okay, analytic value chain is expressed in this form, okay, you have a strategy one side and you have got execution part other side, strategy one side, execution other side, okay, so strategy part speaks about your descriptor, okay, it speaks about your descriptor, whereas your execution speaks about your prescriptive, and you have got the center is your predictive. Okay, so what we can try to understand here is in the strategy part, okay, from the diagram goes in the U form here, okay, it goes in the U form, you have a strategy part, so the strategy what and all you come into the picture is strategic business plan we do here, and then after that customer analyzed need we do, then operations, and then the talent management. So these all comes under the strategy where these are all your descriptive part. Okay, in the center you have a predictive part. Okay, now coming to the prescriptive, slowly what it goes is you have your HR services, operational inputs, customer response, and then finally you are seeing all these, the value, how it is a chain link, okay, everything has got a link here, and finally we are going to measure in the terms of financial aspects here. Okay, we are discovering in the form of what? We are analyzing and discovering in the form of the what value it is fetching in the terms of your financial aspect. Okay, so what we do is try to understand now strategy one side and execution other end, whereas in the strategy it speaks about your descriptive, whereas execution speaks about your prescriptive, whereas in the center you have a predictive. Okay, now taking the very first strategic business plan. Okay, strategic business plan. So I have to plan my business very strategically. So I have to come with what? Master plans. I am coming with master plans like innovative ideas, creative ideas. Okay, like what products I can come with, what goods I can come with, so how do I sell the products, how do I manufacture the product, so how do I improve my process here. So this way I try to bring the picture of strategic business plan. I am trying to plan the business strategically in terms of creative, innovation, okay, in the terms of goods, services, or the selling strategies, marketing strategies, etc. Okay. And after this, these are all describing. Look here. So what it is doing? It's describing. We are describing our strategic business plan. How are we describing our business plan? So strategically is like our business plan should be very innovative. It should be very creative. Okay, like this we are describing. So that is what we call it as a descriptive analytics. So how I am coming with my selling strategies or the marketing strategies, etc. Now coming to customer analyzed need. Again, customer analyzed need. That is how I am analyzing the customers. So that also I have to explain in the form of descriptive. So what is their need? What is their want? What is their desire? So usually their need, want, desire goes in what? The price, the quality, quantity, okay, services, features, etc. So customers are looking what? They are looking for new products. So that's what in the terms of what? New innovations, new innovative products. Okay, and again the quality wise they will be looking, the price wise or the feature wise, okay, quantity wise also. Quality aspect one side, the quantity aspect another side. So these are the few ways we try to understand the customer analyzed needs. So basically customers are looking in the terms of what? They are looking in the terms of price, okay, they are looking in the terms of quantity, they are also looking in the terms of quality and the services and the features. Okay, then after this, then we go with the operations. So we are going with what? Operations. So our daily operations, HR operations, what we do is, how are we carrying our HR functions? So day-to-day operations. So it might be your managerial functions, like how I am planning, okay, after planning how I am staffing, directing, coordinating, controlling, integrating, all these things comes picture of operations. Okay, operation speaks what? Again, operation speaks when I'm producing something. So I've got my inputs are there. Okay, our inputs are our items in the management. So process is there in between, and finally I'm producing something. So all this makes an operations. So what is that planning I'm doing to produce something? Okay, what is that process time it is taking? That's what the input. What are the inputs, resources I'm just making use for it, and then process how I'm doing the process, and finally what is that outcome I'm giving? Okay. The outcome in the form of the goods, services, the performance, results, etc. So this all speaks about your operations here. Again, it is describing. Okay, remember, again it is describing. Okay, and next is talent management. Okay, talent management speaks about how I'm planning my workforce planning. Okay, talent management. So how I'm going to recruit the best brains, talented brains. So how I'm going to retain them. Okay, how I'm going to plan their compensation design. So all these things comes here picture of your talent management. So how I'm managing the best brains of the company. So I have to describe again in the terms of my HR practices, my policies and the programs here. Okay, so this is what it speaks about your what? Talent management. Talent management speaks about what? All your HR basic units, that is starting from your procuring, how I am procured. So once I procure, how I am integrating, how I am developing them, how I am compensating them, and how I am maintaining them. So all these things speaks here of talent management. So remember in the strategy part, so it's all descriptive part where starting from your business plan, okay, then the customer analyze, your operations, and then the talent management. After all this, then we are going to our execution part. So everything is planned. So now we are going for the prescriptive part here. So prescriptive, what it says is your HR services. Finally, it comes my best HR services. Okay, so everything has been done here, planned here. So finally, my HR services is what? So I am trying to bring the values now. See, look here, execution part speaks about your value creations again. So here we spoke in terms of what? Procurement. So how I am procuring. Now, for example, you've got various functions in the procurement. If I take one, recruitment. So what is that recruitment cost? Okay, next, advertisement cost, time to fill. Okay, time to hire. So this way I try to calculate. Okay, now if I give the training, if my performance is not up to mark, so again I'm calculating the training cost. Then afterwards I'm assessing in the terms of what? The results, okay, outcome. So this way it speaks your HR services in the terms of value generating, execution part. Okay, and finally your operational inputs. Operational inputs, again I just calculate in the terms of when it comes to the operation. See, again you can take this way also. Here operations fundamentally we planned here. Then in the terms of values you are calculating, that is operation inputs, is finally I am just trying to see the process. Okay, the idle time, the function time. Okay, so this way I try to calculate here. Okay, what is that quantity, the quality, the outcome, what it is coming. Okay, finally that way we try to calculate the operational inputs here. And customer responses, here you are trying to analyze your customer basic needs. Okay, and now what is that response to your whatever the products or the services you are delivered. So now they are happy, are they satisfied, okay, in terms of your quality wise, the price wise, the quantity wise, or the services wise. Are they responding, are they reacting, not reacting, are they contacting, okay, again to the the outlets, whatever it might be. Okay, so this way I try to assess the customer response here. Okay, customer response in the terms of what? Are they again approachable? How are they responding? Okay, positive, negative, so this way. And finally, the financial aspect, that is whatever you produce, the product or the services. Finally, I look into the terms of what? The value generation. Okay, the value generation comes here. Okay, so that's what we say now. See, all it's been linked, this whatever we try to study in the previous boxes. Okay, the analytics understanding, then the types, and then we came into the values of analytics. Here we took the analytic capabilities. Keeping this diagram also, we are trying to explain the analytic value chain here. Okay, either it can be the structured, unstructured. So you can see both the values here, economic and the financial. Okay, that is one side speaks. So you got the levels also here, descriptive, prescriptive, predictive, and again you got the structured, unstructured. Okay, and again you got the economic and the financial. So this entire picture makes you to understand analytic value chain. So how I am trying to understand this chain, that is, see, you are having a link here starting from your strategic business plan. Okay, you are to the customer analyzed need, operations, talent management, HR services, operational inputs, customer response, and the financial aspects. Finally, it goes to your performance, outcome based. So what it is generating, the revenue generating. Okay, so this way we can try to understand in the form of U form, or else you can also connect to this. Whatever strategic business plan, it should always connect to your financial aspect or the customer analyzed need. So customer responses, we try to match it and try to analyze here. Okay, strategy is there, execution is there, operations, operational inputs, and the talent management and your HR services. So this way also you can try to understand here. So by this, I think we have tried to understand the various concepts of Unit 3, Basics of HR Analytics. So see you soon in the next session. Thank you very much.